Nolan Traore has been one of the hottest names in the 2025 NBA draft. Now, the French point guard got off to a bit of a rocky start to his season as he shot just 3 of 15 with 7 assists to 9 turnovers in his first 2 games. Rough numbers for someone who is kind of being pitched as potentially the best point guard in the 2025 NBA draft. Now, thankfully, it's early in the season, and we don't make our final judgment off of just 2 games, especially the very first 2 games of the season. We also don't make them off of just one great game either. But thankfully, Traore hit the ground running and has seemed to hopefully find his footing and produced a game that he can continue to build on. He finally had his big breakout against Kolossos, dropping 27 points on 9 of 18 shooting, 4 of 10 from 3, and most importantly, 5 assists to 0 turnovers. Traore looked more comfortable. The game is seemingly slowing down for him. His decision-making is improving. He was aggressive and confident with his shot and really utilized his quickness on both ends of the floor. We're going to dive through his game chronologically, look at where he thrived, some improvement areas, and, some of the in-between as well. I'm Tyler Metcalf. Welcome to Film School. Let's dive in. We're going to work our way through this game from start to finish. So we're going chronologically, and one of the very first things that stood out in this game for Traore was how much more effective and comfortable he was on defense, where a lot of the times in these games, he's looked really small out there, which is concerning, but he's also looked like one of the fastest players out there too. And that, combined with his IQ and defensive fundamentals, can produce a really versatile and devastating point of attack defender. He may not be super versatile in terms of positions that he can defend effectively just because of that strength and size differential. But as we can see here, his footwork, his discipline is all really, really sound. So we'll just kind of go slow-mo here so we can kind of see the footwork. Does a really good job of adjusting his base here as the screen comes to not allow the screener to reposition and take him out of the play and go and allow the ball handler to go to his right. Traore knows that he has help here, so he's trying to deny the ball handler the right side of the floor as the screener readjusts. Does a great job of that, and ball handler buys in, goes to his left, and Traore does a great job of staying low in his stance, wide base, great depth in his squat. He's not bent over at the waist. This isn't a fake defensive stance. This is very real. He's sitting down in his stance, sliding his feet. That willingness and ability to slide his feet here and not cross and sacrifice his balance allows him to then challenge this shot fake and the step back without fouling. He's still under control, slides his feet yet again, and as the ball handler turns for this really tough off-balance fadeaway, Traore's balance is under him the entire time, gets a decent contest on him late in the shot clock. The shot has no chance of going in, and it's all because Traore, from the start, does a great job of not allowing the ball handler to go to his right and then stays disciplined with his defensive fundamentals from start to finish. That quickness that we just saw on the defensive end popped up regularly on the offensive end as well. So here, nothing overly complicated here. Just Traore, high pick and roll, and maximizing his speed. So as the screen comes here, they're just going to be kind of running a little kind of Spain action. So initial high pick and roll, and then off-ball player is going to screen the screener's defender. Not that it ever kind of comes into play here, but Traore is going to come off to his right, and his defender kind of gets caught up between going through it, going under, going over, and just kind of gets caught up in the mess here and takes himself out of the play. As Traore comes off the screen, he sees that the paint is completely unoccupied. This help side defender is staying relatively home because you don't help off of strong side corner shooters, especially in pro leagues and in college and in high school. Don't do it, kids. And he sees that the low man is playing tight to the screener and is focused on this and is communicating here, and that his defender is off balance and has his back turned. So Traore just turns on the jets and attacks all of this space. As he does so, he's beaten his defender to the spot. He has a clear lane here, and he does a really good job of angling back towards the middle of the lane, absorbs the contact. That angle improves his finishing angle, potentially draws the foul. He doesn't get it here, but it's about the process. He absorbs the bump, ensures that his defender can't get back in front of him, finishes through the contact. From start to finish, this is all just quick, decisive, and a testament to Traore's ability to get downhill in the blink of an eye. Traore had yet to really kind of find his shot so far this season. Hopefully this is a game where he's able to build on that, because he was really, really confident launching and punishing defenders for going under screens, as we can see here. So I like this because it shows a little bit of it. It obviously shows his shooting ability and his confidence, but it also shows a little bit of his versatility, where they're able to kind of run him off screens a little bit. So as he gives up the ball, Saint-Quentin goes into the side pick and roll, and Traore goes under the hoop and just basically goes into more or less a floppy action, where he's just going to sprint off this pin down screen from his teammate. Nothing overly complicated, but just kind of a lot of window dressing to put Traore in motion, put the defense in motion, and set up now a side pick and roll. So as he receives this pass, the pin down screen, his teammate is going to reposition and just run a high pick and roll with an empty corner, force the defense to make a decision. And as the screener kind of pivots out of this, Traore's defender never really commits. There's a little bit of defensive communication. He goes to switch, but his teammate isn't at the level, so he's not able to really switch and get a strong contest. Traore sees this window and without hesitation rises up. Solid shooting mechanics. The base is a little funky right there, but when you're kind of going in motion and going off a movement, it's not going to be pristine every time. What's important is that as he rises, everything is fluid, good elbow placement, good hand placement on the ball, elevates straight up, really comfortable, really decisive, gets a clean look off, and knocks it down. So we'll just go back one more time, see it in full speed. Goes in motion, a little miscommunication, defenders go under, and he makes them pay. This time, Traore basically does the same thing, but even out of just a more simplified situation. High pick and roll, defender goes way under. Without hesitation, Traore makes him pay. He punishes him. So let's see. As the screen comes, pretty normal for an on-ball defender to kind of go under a screen this far out, especially against a young player who hasn't been shooting well. Makes sense. This is way under. And as Traore comes off this screen, he's going to rise up confidently, steps into it. Really sound mechanics, really fluid, on balance, elevates well. Defender ends up getting kind of a late contest here, but at this point, it doesn't really matter. Traore's got a clean look, confidently rises up, knocks it down one more time. Fluid, and most importantly, it's that confidence that he continues to shoot with throughout this entire game. All right, now we're going to get into a little bit of just me nitpicking. So in this instance, we get a really good kind of flash of Traore's handle and quickness, but then he just doesn't do anything with it. He's a little too eager to get off it. And hopefully this is something that as he continues to mature, as the game continues to slow down for him, and more importantly, I think as he gets stronger, we'll see situations like this a little less. So high pick and roll, just a little brush screen, defender goes under, and I love this little in and out move by Traore because he's so quick. Little fake in, out, crossover, and completely loses his defender here. What I would love for him to do is attack all the way to the rim. Now it gets a little tricky because his teammate's kind of cutting through on the baseline here. And what Traore is doing is, as the way he's reading this is he's attacking downhill. He knows his teammate is flaring out to the wing, and that the strong side help defender is helping down into the lane out of that strong side shooter. So theoretically, it's the right read, but he's just a little too quick at getting rid of it. As we can see, the defender just kind of is stunting to him. He doesn't have his intention the entire way is to recover back out to the shooter. What I would love for Traore to do here is either just secure it through that dig and go up at the rim. Again, little tricky because his teammate is under the rim here and kind of clogging up the lane. You think with NBA spacing, it gets a little cleaner. So either just secure it through there and attack the rim, or fake that pass, secure it, attack the rim, or just keep it and wait for that defender to really fully commit. So when you do kick it out, now your teammate has a wide open shot instead of a heavily guarded one. So nitpicking here, the initial part of this, the handle, the quickness, that first step, absolutely love it. He's just a little quick to get off the ball here. So the reason I'm nitpicking on plays like the one we just saw is because in the same game, just a few minutes later, he's showing off this. So he doesn't get the bucket here, but he does get the foul, and it all stems from his quickness and that decisiveness and ability to get to the rim basically whenever he wants. So as they inbound the ball, just pick and roll, and defender goes under. Traore sees this driving lane here. He knows that this guy's in drop, so he's going to be looking to recover. They're not switching this, and he knows that he has the speed to beat his primary defender to the middle of the floor. As he attacks, really good job of kind of changing direction here, because as he comes off this screen, he's going a little wide and then does a great job of planting that left foot and exploding back towards the middle of the lane. Right there, adjusts his angle, and then now he's downhill, getting really low, getting a lot of bend. He's kind of looking like a defensive end here with how low he's getting, which allows him to beat his defender to that spot, turn that angle, and get to the rim. He's now not only beaten his primary defender, but he's also beaten the weak side rotation over. So that speed allows him to slither through the defense here, does a great job of extending, of protecting that ball with his offhand, putting it in a spot where none of the defenders can get it, gets the shot off, draws the foul, can't get the bucket here. But, in time, with additional strength and all that kind of stuff, these are probably shots that we're going to see go in more often than not from him. And it all stems from that ability to get downhill so stinking quick. So when I nitpick on examples like the previous one, it's because he's showing us that he can do this. All right, back to the defensive end. Again, just really sound fundamentals from Traore here. Great balance, great footwork, fantastic defensive stance. So he's on the weak side here, and as ball gets kicked out, he gets turned around a little. Not super ideal, but he relocates his man very quickly. He's where he needs to be, and he's down in a defensive stance. Great fundamentals so far. Ball handler, clock running down. We're at 5 seconds left on the clock. Ball handler knows, and he's got to be aggressive here. He attacks. Traore does a great job of just sliding with him and staying in that defensive stance. Obviously, you don't want to necessarily give up the middle of the floor here, but Traore knows late in the clock, just be in position. And that's all he does the entire way. Don't foul, don't reach, don't gamble. He just does a great job of sliding his feet here to stay on balance, stays low in that defensive stance, which allows him to pivot with the ball handler here. As the ball handler tries to spin back, Traore just kind of flows with him, opens his hips up, drops that left foot, and he's just staying in sound position. If there's more time on the shot clock here, is the ball handler able to kind of overpower him a little more, be a little more patient, and kind of play some bully ball? Maybe, but there isn't. And Traore knows this, and just the way he moves his feet and sits in a defensive stance is exactly what you want from your point guard defenders. it doesn't have to be devastating. It just kind of has to be good enough and in the way, and that's what Traore's fundamentals and quickness allow him to do. Here we see how Traore's constant rim pressure is starting to kind of affect the defensive coverages, and how Traore is able to capitalize that to create stuff for his teammates. So this isn't overly complicated, just simple drive and kick. He gets downhill, and strong side corner defender, what did we talk about earlier? Don't help out of strong side corner shooters. He's got a foot in the lane. He's really deep here, and that's a ton of room. Simple read. Traore kicks it out, passes exactly where it needs to be. Shooter's able to rise up in motion or in rhythm and knock it down. Now, also, there's really no need for this guy to be even here. He needs to be a step or two that way. Traore's defender's in a good position. So defensive lapse, Traore capitalizes. Now, I know what you're thinking. Just a couple clips ago, I was nitpicking on Traore making a similar kick out, but here's the difference. When in that previous clip, Traore's teammate was here, help defender was here. There's not a whole lot of room to close out there, so the kick out wasn't totally necessary. Here, Traore is able to get a lot deeper. The help defender is really committed, and that is a long way to recover, especially on a pass that's going to be that accurate. By the time that Traore's teammate catches this is a wide open corner three. Defender kind of gets a late contest, but ball's already out. He's not affecting the sight line at all. This is just simple and sound decision making. It's plain simple, playing to his strengths, and that's what Traore wasn't necessarily doing most of the time in his first two games. More playmaking examples, or I should say good passing examples. Playmaking needs to improve a little bit, but the passing here is sound, and Traore easily could have had 8 or 9 assists in this game if his teammates, made some more shots. But on the surface, I'll go through the good, and then we'll get into some nitpicks. So, kind of a fun little set here. Side pick and roll. Traore is going to go off to his left, and they're going to set back screen for his teammate to curl off of and hopefully get a wide open layup out of this. So as Traore comes off, his eyes are immediately going there. He sees his defender going under. Doesn't really matter. He's not looking to score here. What I would love to see is Traore kind of anticipate this and make this pass now, because we can see that defender is getting screened off. This defender is just kind of tagging him. He has no intention of going with them. Even now, that pass should be coming out, and we can see Traore starting to load up with it. And it ends up being a good pass. Does a good job of kind of changing the angle, using his offhand to wrap around, deliver an accurate pass to his teammate for an open layup. This should be a bucket, but going forward, what I would love to see from Traore is just speeding this up and improving his anticipatory passing. My hope is that he was a little more measured and a little more patient in a lot of his passing. My hope is that was a symptom of having 9 turnovers in his first 2 games and him just really trying to focus on taking care of the ball. His passing in this game was really, really good, but the playmaking needs some improvement, and it's just being a little more proactive about setting up his teammate. So if he instead delivers the pass now, instead of taking 2 extra steps and an extra dribble, you deliver that pass now. Now your teammate's catching it in stride and finishing on the other side of the hoop instead of catching here and rushing as his defender recovers. So again, good pass. He's accurate. He's reading the play right. He's delivering it on time. I would just like him to be a little quicker and a little more proactive in how he leads his teammate to the rim. Similar to one of the previous clips, nothing crazy here in terms of processing or playmaking, but again, just a real testament to how effortlessly Traore can combine his quickness and ability to collapse a defense with his passing accuracy and kind of floor awareness. So he's just isolation, and he's just going full speed, gets a little side screen here, sees that the drop defender's at the level. Traore knows that he has the speed to beat him, so he does. He effortlessly kind of gets downhill, and he is now his primary defender is now out of the play. He has now eliminated the drop defender and drawn a weak side rotation from 2 defenders as well. So Traore knows that he has teammates wide open on the weak side, and just dumps it off to his teammate at the elbow. He kicks it out to his teammate top of the arc. Shot doesn't go in, but they get a wide open 3 at the top of the arc, all because Traore is faster than everyone else on the floor and willing and happily made just the simple play. Back to some of Traore's shooting. So a little DHO, defensive lapse, confidently rises up and knocks down a 3. Again, nothing complicated here, but it's that confidence that we want to see from Traore combined with the solid shooting mechanics. So there are always tweaks that can be made to shooting mechanics, but after starting off 3 of 15 shooting on the year, it was really good to see how confident Traore was throughout this game. So gets a little pitch back, jabs to his right, defender loses his balance, turns his back, Traore abandons whatever the set or the action was supposed to be, and just takes what the defense gives him, eats up all this space, steps into a wide open 3 confidently, good base, elevates, everything is fluid, it's smooth, it looks good, late contest, but ball's already out, rises up confidently, knocks down a 3. If he can continue to shoot like this in these different settings, it's going to be huge for his draft stock and overall development. Then just for the sake of some variety, here we have Traore knocking down transition 3 off the catch. Again, just wide open, fills his lane correctly, teammate spots him on the opposite side, delivers a great pass, really accurate pass, that allows Traore to just effortlessly step into, rise up, and knock down. So this isn't complicated by any means, but what I hope you're taking from these shooting clips is the consistency and the confidence and the comfortability in the comfort level Traore has in shooting, where we're seeing him pull up out of the pick and roll, off the catch, in isolation, on DHOs. All of that, the variety and the confidence that we're seeing is really, really encouraging for his long-term development and shooting potential. All right, this is my final nitpick, I promise. But really good assist here out of the Spain pick and roll. Accurate pass, reads the play correctly, reads the defense properly, and delivers a pass on time. It's solid. It's solid passing. It's not great playmaking. So what I mean by that is, again, similar to the earlier one where his teammate kind of curled off that back screen and missed the layup. The pass was a little late, and we're seeing a similar thing here. Now, in totality, it's fine because they get the bucket. The pass is accurate. He didn't turn the ball over. He read the defense correctly. It's really good passing. But what I want to see from him throughout the season is speeding that up and making it awesome playmaking. Where he's really creating for his teammates and passing his teammates open and not necessarily waiting for them to get open. So a little Spain pick and roll. Defense kind of switches here. Off-ball player is setting a back screen for the initial screener. As Traore kind of comes off the screen, if this guy was a rim runner, that'd be fun, but he's not. So alas, here we are. And Traore, it would be nice to see him kind of already initiating this pass. Instead, he waits for his teammate to come clear and really open himself up and find himself up in space, where now Traore sees him. Now he feels comfortable making this pass because he knows he's wide open. But it would be great to see him start to deliver that pass now, because these 2 defenders are caught up on the screen here. His teammate is rolling, change that angle, deliver a one-handed bounce pass, lead him to the rim with ease, Instead, he waits for him to get open under the rim. Again, it's fine. It's an accurate pass. It still beats the recovering defender. His teammate uses a nice little shot fake to get rid of him. Finishes with a layup. It's good. It's solid processing. I would just like to see as we go forward throughout the season. Again, I'm nitpicking, but a couple months from now, I'm hoping that that ball is starting to leave his hand now and his teammates able to go up even more wide open and not even have to worry about using a shot fake here. It's good. Just could be better. So just one more time. Really accurate pass. It's good improvement on the previous 2 games. Finally here, we get to see Traore yet again get to the rim, collapse the defense, showcase his quickness, but also a little bit of craft and ability to finish through contact. So he's up here. They're just going to kind of run a high pick and roll. Traore doesn't wait for the screen and just uses his speed, gets low, explodes downhill, and his primary defender doesn't have a chance of sticking with him. As he attacks downhill, he does a really good job of kind of securing through the strong side corner dig, avoids the rotating defender, does a really good job of planting that left foot. We can see how low he's getting here because that allows him to explode back to his right. Really strong Euro step here, plants his left, explodes through the contact, absorb it, recomposes himself, finds his balance, drops it in off the glass, plus the foul. You love to see it. As he continues to get stronger, and these are going to become even more frequent, I think. It was really, really encouraging to see how aggressive he was in terms of scoring, not just from outside, but also getting downhill. He looks kind of small in a lot of these clips, in a lot of these games, but he isn't playing like he's small. And that's really encouraging when we get to see him attack downhill, finish through contact, draw fouls like he did throughout this game. That's really encouraging for what his game will look like, not just 2 months from now, 4 months from now, but 4 years from now. This was by far Nolan Traore's best game of his season. Now it's early. It's only been 3 games. But we needed to see this from him after 2 kind of stinkers to begin his year. So I hope that this gave you a better sense of what Traore can look like when things are clicking, what his strengths are, what he kind of still needs to improve on, and even those improvement areas, they're good right now. They can just always be a little better. So I know I was nitpicking on some of the playmaking stuff, but that's the differentials between the really good passers and the elite playmakers. They're slim. Those windows get a lot shorter and a lot smaller and close a lot quicker in the NBA. So I'm really fascinated to see how much Traore's kind of processing speed and decision-making and playmaking confidence continues to grow in the coming months. And if he's able to do that while also continuing to take care of the ball. So he's shown us that he can attack the rim, collapse the defense, create for others, shoot from outside, play at a high level. Now the real question is, can he do it consistently?